At the end of last summer season, I asked you on Instagram, what do you wish you had known before coming to Santorini? I received hundreds of answers, and in today's video, I'm gonna reveal to you the 10 most common ones. Hey guys, welcome to Santorini Explained. My name is Sebastian. I'm a tour guide in Athens. If you are coming to Athens and you would like to know what kind of tours I run, this is my Instagram page. Alright, so the answer that came back the most was make sure to watch all the videos of Sebastian's YouTube channel, which I found very cute. Actually, this came from people who discovered my channel only when they were already on the island, and at that point they realized they probably hadn't made the best decisions regarding the location of their hotel, the tours they booked, or how to use public buses, for instance. So yeah, if you're coming to Santorini in the future, make sure to watch more than 1 or 2 videos of my channel. I'm not the one saying it, you are. Alright, another answer that came back a lot was, I wish I had stayed longer on the island. Many people stayed for 3 or 4 days, and they said they wish they would have stayed for another 2 days, because there's so much to do and see compared to Mykonos and all the other islands, except for Crete. Crete is massive and also has 1 billion things to do. One day I'll make some videos about it. And yeah, I'm not surprised people wrote this if they only came for 3 days. In my opinion, the ideal duration of a stay in Santorini is from 5 to 7 days. Now, just so you know, some people also wrote the opposite. They wish they had stayed less time in Santorini. I reached out to those people asking why that was, and the answer was always the same. Those people were all on a budget. And yeah, it's true that if you cannot afford all these tours and excursions, your experience at Santorini won't be the same. So basically, if you're coming to Santorini only to do the free stuff, like visiting the villages and chilling on the beach, then know that you don't need more than 3 days, really. The third answer I got was, I wish I had spent less time in the touristy areas. Many of you had planned 1 entire day just to visit Oia, and same for Fira. But no, this is a total waste of time. You don't need more than 2-3 hours for each, because they're very tiny. So you can easily do both Oia and Fira on the same day. And then on another day, do Pyrgos and Megalochori, for instance, which are much less touristy and as beautiful. Fourth thing you should know, if you plan to get around the island by bus, you have to book a hotel in Fira. Now, this is something I've already mentioned in many of my other videos, so I won't do it again, but yeah, keep in mind that taking buses from Fira is much more convenient than from anywhere else. Fifth point, the heat. Now, I know this one sounds kind of obvious. Greece is a warm country, but you know what? You can't properly understand it until you're actually here. It's hot, yes, but in a different way. I've heard many people say, it's crazy, it feels like the sun is closer to us. It just feels so warm on the skin. Many people have told me this. So it's not just that it's hot, it's that the sun is properly savage and all you want to do is lie down in the shade and never stand up again. Now, I'm no scientist, I'm not sure why this is, but my guess would be 1, there's no pollution fogging up the atmosphere, and 2, no overcast either. The sky is always perfect blue. So between you and the sun, there's really no obstacle. Now, when does it get super hot? Well, more or less from mid-June to mid-September. The rest of the summer is still warm, don't get me wrong, but the sun feels a little bit less aggressive. The 6th thing you should know is that buses don't stop if you don't tell them to stop. Yeah, indeed, Santorini's bus system is pretty messy, and if you've watched my video on all their unwritten rules, you know what I'm talking about. But one thing I didn't think of telling you in that video is use your phone's GPS. So as you hop on a bus, go to Google Maps and type in your destination. And when you see that the bus is about to get there, yell, "Stop please," to the driver. Now, usually there is a ticket seller on board whose job is to make sure that everyone gets dropped off where they want to, but so many things can go wrong, and I've seen a lot of tourists devastated because their stop had just been skipped, and then they just stand there not knowing what to do. So if you want to play it safe, do the GPS thing. And don't be shy to shout in the bus for your stop. That's what we locals do. Oh, and by the way, one more thing about buses. Don't be surprised if at some point you have to stand on the bus. They will squeeze in as many passengers as possible. So if you're amongst the last ones to board, that will probably be your fate. It's definitely not the safest option, but there are just not enough buses in Santorini compared to the amount of tourists that are coming every year. So they don't really have a choice. 7th thing you should know, driving is way more intense and chaotic than you would think. Now, this one really depends on where you're from. If you're Italian, for instance, it will feel very similar. But if you're American and you're used to wide roads, stop signs that are actually respected, and a clear parking system where you understand how you should be parking, well, you're in for a big surprise. So, my advice would be only rent a car if you feel you will be comfortable driving in those conditions. If you're someone who is already stressed out when driving under normal conditions, don't drive here, you're gonna have a heart attack. Next thing you should know, it's not that easy to go to the other Greek islands from Santorini. Let's have a quick look at the map of Greece. If I tell you that it only takes 40 minutes to fly from Athens to Santorini, you might assume, oh wow, so I can be in all these other islands in less than half an hour. That's amazing. But no, the vast majority of all these other islands don't have an airport, and even the ones that do, they're usually only connected with Athens, not with the other islands. So if you want to fly from Santorini to, let's say, Milos, you will have to fly through Athens, which will take you so much longer than a direct flight. So what about ferries, you might be asking? Are they more convenient than planes? Well, yes. But depending which island you want to go to, there might be only like one ferry per week, or there's no direct ferry connection at all. So you'll have to do a layover on another island first. So yeah, if you're coming to Santorini for, let's say, 1 week, don't think you'll be able to go for some day trips to other islands in the neighborhood and then come back to Santorini on the same day. Of course, I'm not saying it's impossible to do island hopping in Greece. It's definitely possible and many people are doing it, but you gotta study the ferry routes first to see which islands are properly interconnected. Otherwise, you're gonna spend more time transiting around than actually being on the islands you want to visit. I'll make a video at some point on all of this. If it's live already, I'm gonna link it here. Alright, next thing you should know. Don't get ripped off at the ferry port. Cause yeah, as you exit the ferry, you'll start hearing guys yelling, "The bus is here, come here for the bus." And they're actually playing on the words, cause they are not the public bus. They have private minibuses and their rate is 30 euros for two instead of 4 euros for two like the public bus. I've met many people who got confused and went to them when hearing them shout, and by the time they understand this was not the public bus, it's too late and they end up spending way more money than they should have. So if you are arriving by ferry, make sure to check out this video at some point so that you know where exactly to find the actual public buses. Oh, and by the way, you will not have this problem if you are arriving by plane. Everything's much better organized at the airport and you won't have those random guys trying to sell you their stuff. The next thing you should know is that Santorini is full of stairs and very uncomfortable cobblestones. It's something I mention in many of my other videos, yet lots of people have told me they hadn't realized how bad it really was. So let me be clear once and for all, if you have a hard time with stairs in general, maybe you have a bad knee or hip issues, Santorini is not really made for you. Also, if you have a baby and you plan on coming with a stroller, you're gonna have a bad time. And when you book a hotel, make sure you understand how many steps you'll have to walk up and down every day to reach your room. I know that places like these are very appealing, but what they don't tell you is that sometimes you're actually located here, for instance. And to get to the top, it's gonna be like 100 steps every time. Now, these hotels usually do have porters who carry your luggage at your arrival and departure, but they don't carry you. So make sure you're fit enough for this. All right. The majority of people coming to Santorini fly to the island instead of taking the boat. But is this really the best way? Well, that's what I'm answering in this video. And this one is about all the things you can do with only 25 euros. And if you thought that 25 euros can't buy you anything in Santorini, because everything is so expensive, well, think again. And there you go. That's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye.